We're going to install it at 102.5 degrees, which is 4.5 degrees advanced, since the lobe separation was 107. Now that will be the closest the intake valve will be to the piston when we check clearance in a bit.
The timing cover is a unique three-piece design from Comp Cams. It starts with the block spacer. The front cover can go on now without sealant using supplied fasteners. Checking the cam's end plate is simple. Place a dial indicator mounted to a magnetic base on the block and line up the pointer with the timing gear inside the hole. Using a screwdriver, push the cam to the rear of the block. Zero out the indicator and move the cam to the front. We have 36 thousandths and the recommended end play is 1 to 5 thousandths. So supplied shims need to be placed between the button and the cam. With everything back together, our clearance is in the range at 3 thousandths.
Any engine build you'll see here, precise measuring is done throughout the entire build. Now before the crank goes in, we have to check for proper bearing clearance. Now what we're looking for is 1/1000th inch of clearance per inch of journal diameter. So the upper Clevite H series coated bearings can be placed in the saddles and the lowers in the caps. Now they're installed and the center bolts are torqued to 65 foot-pounds, the outers to 35. Proper torque is required even when checking to ensure proper bearing crush.
Glad you're back with us for the assembly of our Dirt late model engine. We gapped the top ring to 21 thousandths and the second to 25 thousandths. That's due to the heat and abuse this engine will see under the extreme conditions of circle track dirt racing. Now the assemblies are ready to drop in the bores. With oil for lube on the rings and skirts, the assembly will go into this tapered ring compressor. It's placed on the deck and a piston knocker is used to drive it home, making sure not to nick the journal down low. Once seated, the cap is installed and the rod bolts are snugged up for now. And with the rest in, we can torque the rod bolts to 43 foot-pounds using ARP Ultra Torque Lube.
Since this is a purpose-built racing engine, it requires a camshaft with specific specs and features that aren't found in street grinds like this. One of those features is how small the cam's base circle is compared to the street grind. Now this one is 900 thousandths and we need that extra clearance so the cam's lobes will clear the rod due to the larger stroke. Rolling the engine over on our modified stand will allow us to drop in our ARP oil pump drive shaft and install this Moroso modified high-volume oil pump. We ordered it with a matching pickup for our pan already welded to it. A Circle Track 7-quart kicked-out sump oil pan from Moroso will seal up the bottom end. Now inside, it features a louvered windage tray and trap doors in the sump to help control slosh in the corners. It rests on their one-piece oil pan gasket. As the ARP fasteners are cinched down, compression stops keep the gasket from being forced out of the rails.